Oh man, that's a loaded question, but the easiest answer is being the exact opposite. So I grew up right at the time where NWA and gangster music and Colors and Boys in the Hood and everything you can imagine that could be perceived as negative for a young black male, that was what I saw. So I had this identity crisis and eventually joined a gang and started to be a lot of other things other than the magic and infinitude that I am right now. Man, I mean, a lot of it stemmed from, I had a particular moment. There's a few. One, my father caught me smoking weed when I was 11. And he sat me down, and I thought I was in trouble. I thought it was going down. He sat me down, and he was like, you know, I have no problem with marijuana, but I want you to take a look at everybody you know who smokes weed. Guys around the corner, your uncles, et cetera, et cetera. He just gave me a whole, and he said, but I don't want you to answer right now. Because I was going to be like, well, He's like, and I want you to know that you're a leader. And you're such a leader that when everybody's going left, if it doesn't feel right for you, you'll go right. And he empowered me. He saw me high and he spoke into that, which is a crazy psychological move to do on an 11-year-old. Because he didn't take it away from me. He said, the choice is yours. And then he told me I was a leader. And from that point, I never smoked again. I tried it again when I was 27. So from 11 to 27, that was done. Because at that point, I got to see and look at that's what he said. He said, do you want the life of everybody who does this? And I looked at it and I'm like, well, no, I don't want to just be sitting on the corner and doing this stuff all day. And that was one of the defining moments. Another one came when I was 15. It was the first time I had an awareness of intuition. Because my buddy Scott called me. He was my best friend, Scott and Rudy. They called me to come out and drink and hang out and be dumb high school students like we were doing every other night. And, not that it flashed at that moment, but I had been so empowered from that moment at 11 to now, here I am, a 15-year-old, and they asked me to come out, and it didn't feel right to me. So I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna chill. And they're like, you gonna be a beep? I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling tonight. Come on, man, come on, Pete. I'm like, nah, man, I'm cool. They hang up the phone. I think it was within an hour, everybody in that blue Astro van that I was in every other day was shot. And Scott was shot in the head and killed. And it was one of those moments for me where, I asked myself, why was I saved? Because I was in the van fighting over the front seat, which is one of the reasons why he was potentially shot in the head, because he was the closest to the gunman, every other day. And that scared me enough to ask my father, could I go and live somewhere else? And he made a few calls. I ended up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at a high school called North Allegheny High School, which at the time was one of the richest high schools in America, public schools. And it was an all-white school. So I was the only black male in the school, and I was like this cool alien that everybody wanted to hang out with. And I had this moment in the car with a couple buddies where we were speeding through this canyon, and I was just thinking about it. Like, the kids at North Allegheny High were all drinking, smoking, listening to Outkast, Tupac, and Biggie. And the kids at my old school, my former school, were drinking, smoking, listening to Outkast, Tupac, and Biggie. They were doing the same things but getting two different results based on the expectation and the environment that was set up for them. And I looked at myself and I'm like, wow, my grades are better. I wouldn't dare curse or spit or do any of the things that I was doing at my old school at this one, where you could eat off the ground, and it was like, I was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in some sense. And for me, that was one of, 30 catalyst moments where I was like, oh, we're all the same. Underneath our stories about black, white, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, underneath all of that stuff, we're all the same. We're all dealing with the same media. We're all being bombarded by the same stuff. But the difference is the expectation that is set for each group. Yeah, that was huge. You know, when you speak into somebody's greatness, no matter if they're an 11-year-old or a 45-year-old, and you pierce all of the illusion that they think about themselves and get down into that heart, it does something to people, and he did it to me. And I absolutely believe that that's why I speak and am myself with reckless abandon. I don't care what other people think. And when I do, I catch it and I direct it to something else.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.